Are you confident? Do you have consistency? How much conviction do you have? I'm Daniel Gomez, the Confidence Architect, a business strategist, keynote speaker, executive coach, and best-selling author. On the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, we will help you unlock confidence to create consistency and develop conviction. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence. Welcome back to another episode of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, where we motivate you, we inspire you, and boy, today are we going to encourage you with a lot of wisdom. I got a dear, beautiful friend of mine, Ngoc Tran, all the way from the West Coast. I'll tell you what, I had the pleasure of just spending time with her, and she's an amazing, beautiful human being. Let's welcome to the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, Ngoc Tran. How you doing, my dear friend?
Doing awesome. Thank you, Daniel. Glad to be here.
I know. I'll tell you what. I know the beautiful, amazing person you are. Do me a favor. Introduce yourself to the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, please.
Well, I'm a CPA by background. I've been a CPA for 23 plus years. Also an entrepreneur at heart. I've been a refugee from Vietnam, grew up poor, single mom, but I've been able to walk away from the corporate world in June of 2021. So I've built now 7-8 streams of income since June of 2021. And for me, I'm passionate about empowering people to understand their financial health and help them make money, save money, protect their money, and eliminate debt using tax risk-free and tax advantage strategies. And that's where a lot of us don't know that kind of strategy that's out there.
Well, today is actually tax season day. So I'm like, oh man, I need you to come over here to San Antonio. But no, before we came on live, I was telling Ngoc here that we're doing our taxes because it's tax season right now. But people don't really realize how important that is. But before we get into the tax part of it and just business, but you know, I just love your story. A refugee comes in from Vietnam into a country and you make a successful life of yourself. Let's go back. Like when you came to America, how old were you, Ngoc?
I was 8 years old.
8 years old? And how was that for the 8-year-old Ngoc?
Well, you know, when you 8 years old, you're very innocent, but I still have a lot of memories as an 8-year-old of our journey, how we escaped Vietnam and how we end up in the islands in Indonesia. We were there for about 6-7 months waiting for political asylum to be approved to come to the US. And in there was nobody there. It was a deserted campsite that we came on. And just made camp there and lived there until we got approved to come to the US.
Wow. And look at you. You were successful in corporate America. Now you started your own business. You're a true entrepreneur. You know what I love about that? So many people that I hear, they make excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse, or if you want to say alibi after alibi after alibi after alibi. And then they justify it because they say, well, COVID happened, or the market's not doing good, or inflation. Right, not that these ain't to say legitimate excuses, but really it's who you are on the inside and how you think. And I'm so honored to have you on our show today because you are doing amazing. Talk to us. What made you, right? You were in corporate America for many, many years. What the heck made you want to start a business?
Well, you know, I've always had the entrepreneur blood. It runs in my family. My mom was a business owner in Vietnam, where actually we were millionaires in Vietnam. And when the communists took over in 1975, we lost everything. You know, the money was reset. And so everybody was, all the money was worthless. And so it's always been in my blood. My grandfather was an entrepreneur. My mom was an entrepreneur. And coming to the US, I always had this burning desire. By the age of 18, I already had 7 jobs. I mean, I was like passing newspaper with my brother on the weekend, flyers and deheading shrimp, working at a coffee shop, making ice cream and doing data entry. So I was doing all kinds of stuff. But I always knew that I was an entrepreneur at heart. And even working in a corporate, I always had side hustle. I had a tea business. I started a jewelry business. I started an outsourced business, working full-time in corporate as in startups and running accounting departments. I always knew that I wasn't meant for an entrepreneurship.
I love that, ladies and gentlemen. This is a part of the show where I tell you, get out your pen, get out your paper, because Knoc's going to drop some massive wisdom. And she's already done that, right? Remember, when you write things down, you retain over 50% of what you write down. So take notes because she's going to pour into us right now. Not just hearing you say this, I hear so many people say, well, you don't understand my situation. I just had a baby. You don't understand my situation. My son's in college. You don't understand my situation. Whatever it is, they allow their situation to control their life. They allow their circumstances to control their life. Mm-hmm. How did you not allow your situations and your circumstances to control your life? Because really, the truth is we have the power within us to do whatever the hell we want to do. And that's what I love about you. When I see you, I see the word resilience and just right. That's powerful. Talk to us about that.
So I always had a burning desire to be more and do more. Growing up poor in the US, my dad was, an alcoholic and a gambler. And, and also he was cheating my mom. So I always knew, when I was 10, 12 years old, and my dad was a landscaper. So I would sit in the car watching the car while he would landscape at these rich people's home. So in my mind, I made a determination that I will not be poor. And so at that point in time, I can remember vividly sitting there and it's like, no, I will own one of those homes and I will be rich. And so for me, that was instilling me the value of hard work, understand, and there's just a value of, no, I'm never going to give up. I'll never be poor, and I will never let my son or children grow up poor like I did. So for me, it was always like this desire to be more than just what I was given, right?
I love that too. And you know what else is probably happening that you didn't even realize? You think about what you just said. You were there waiting in the car, protecting the equipment, the lawnmower, and everything else that your dad was using. But God loved you so much that he showed you these big mansions of rich people to see these optics. And the beautiful thing is that the human eye takes in over 1 million optics a second. So you were taking all these photographic memories and all these photographic pictures, and they were being trained here in your subconscious mind. So you already had that image in you. I love that. So someone is saying right now, not, it sounds great, but can I really do a side hustle? Can I really make something of myself aside from what I've been doing? Mm-hmm. What are your words of wisdom that you would say to somebody right now that's listening to this or watching this on YouTube and they don't believe it for themselves? Give us some words of encouragement for that person, please.
Well, why did we all come to the US? You think about immigrants. Why do we come to the US? Because US is the land of opportunity. The land of opportunity where whatever opportunity is out there, you get to choose and decide if you want to. And you get to choose and decide to get off your butt and work and stop with those messages that you have. It's all in your head. So for me, why I'm able to, since June of 2021, walked away literally walk away from a very high income earning job as a controller for litigation research, managing a big accounting department. I walked away from all that and started from zero again.
Yes.
And so to be able to build the multiple streams of income, I'm able to evaluate the different businesses and walk away some things that don't serve me. Because not every business is right for you. It's the people who bring you into the business. Are they the right fit? Is the business model works for you? And so for me, evaluating that really quick, say, no, that doesn't work. And so I've been able to create a platform that works all in sync together, right? And that's what I love. It's not that I've probably in my lifetime, I've tried at least 20 businesses. It's not like by days it's happened. No, fail, try, fail, try. Just keep doing it.
Do you know the average human fails one time and they don't ever try again? And
that's very sad.
Yes, and rarely do they try twice and they just don't because they carry that guilt, they carry that failure with them and they never try again. So ladies and gentlemen, think about this. Think about what Ngoc is saying right now. She's tried not just one, not just two, not just three, not just 10. She's tried over 20 businesses to find one that worked for her. How determined are you to really succeed and make a better life for you, for your family, to leave a legacy? Think about what she said. As a refugee, she's been able to do this. So what's your excuse? What's your excuse right now? And you know, when you said that about the not over 20 different jobs that you've been trying or businesses, mm-hmm. Walt Disney was denied not 10 times, not 50 times, not 100 times. He was denied. He was told, they laughed at him. They said, this mouse? What the heck are we going to do with this mouse? Walt Disney was denied a loan by over 300 banks before he got his yes. And us right now in this world that we're in right now, we get told no once or twice, and we give up on our dream. What do you say to that?
Well, you think of us as a child, right? How many times do we fail learning to walk? Like learning to speak and doing things and growing up and making mistakes. That's part of the journey of life. You got to make mistakes to learn from the mistakes, to come to a conclusion, okay, this works or this doesn't work. And if you never try, you're always wondering, oh my God, I wish I did this, I wish I did that. No, just try it. Fail and pick up, and those are lessons learned in life. You get to learn them and be better and do better. That's what it's all about. It's making mistakes and learning from them and not being afraid to try.
Ooh, I love that. So, ladies and gentlemen, think about this. What mistake have you made that is weighing you down? Why don't you change the script on that story you're telling yourself? I bet you this is what a lot of people do now, because they fail and then they embrace the identity of a failure. So they walk around with that shame, they walk around with that guilt, they don't tell anybody about it, and then they never embark on anything new. They just stay right there where they're at. Instead, ladies and gentlemen, why don't you do what Ngoc is saying? She's dropping some massive wisdom. Stop seeing that failure as a mistake and say, okay, well, how can I turn this failure, this mistake that's happened, how can I grow from this situation? How can it make me a better individual, a better business person? And when you do that, there's lessons behind those mistakes. Let me ask you this. What are 2 or 3 great lessons that you've learned because of mistakes that you've made in the younger version of who you were in business?
Oh my goodness, relationship-wise, there's so many. It's like even relationship with my father, relationship with my first boyfriend, relationship with my ex-husband, and he's an ex, right? So those are all lessons learned. Imagine someone like me going through an alcoholic father, a gambler, a first boyfriend, my first love was as a gangster, into drugs, all kinds of crazy stuff. And my ex-husband, I won't share that because he's the father of my son, but that was a huge, not a good thing either. So I could have literally took those lessons and say, poor me, my life is terrible, but for me, I'm grateful because these men in my life taught me lessons to look for the one that I want in my life, that would give me the nourishment that I needed, right? Versus rejecting men in general, right? So yes, those are for me, those are valuable lessons, relationship with men.
Well, I love that. I couldn't see you married to a gangster, though. I don't.
There's another side of me you don't know.
I know. I'm like
the wild, crazy side.
I'm gonna have to put you in the back of the room when you come to the boot camp.
You'll see the CPA with the, very structure, but no, there's another side.
Oh, I
can tell you stories.
No. Oh man, I'm having so much fun with you here, Ngoc. But ladies and gentlemen, look at what she just said, what she shared her heart with us today. Not once, not twice, but she finally had to go and just follow her dream. And not only did she just have a successful business that she left, made tons of money, started her own business, she even wrote a book. Do me a favor now, tell us about your book a little bit. Because, so many times people see, right, they see Ngoc right now. You're very successful, you have your business going, you're doing amazing things, and they think it's easy, right? They see the fruit, but they don't see the root. They see the fruit, but they don't see the root and how many times you had to water, nourish, and do all that. Mm-hmm. So when somebody reads the book that you're a part of, what's the name of the book, by the way?
The most recent one is called Voices of the 21st Century, and it's a woman transforming the world. So it's basically a collaboration of Women Speaker Association of 45 authors, and we each share our life stories. Mine is about my relationship with money, which is pretty appropriate since, that's what I do. I'm a CPA and a financial health expert. So for me, it's I wasn't a writer. I think for me, discovering my writing skills was when I was going through my divorce. And all of a
Yes.
sudden, all these emotions came out, and I was writing poetry and all kinds of things. And I realized I wanted to write books. And so this opportunity came up with Women Speaker Association. So this is my second book. We're international best-selling authors in 4 countries: US, UK, Canada, and Australia, and in 10 categories. So what's powerful is that you don't have to do it alone. You can do it with other women to get your name out there. So for me,
Yes.
my goal is to write more books. My mom's story. There's so many other stories that I love to share.
Well, I love the topic you talk about. I love to talk about money. So let's talk about the money. So when you wrote what did you write about? Let's talk about the money issue, because I think it's definitely perfect for the audience that we have here. Because so many entrepreneurs, so many businesses, we know I've been blessed to be one of the top coaches here in business, one of the business coaches in San Antonio, South Texas. And I see that a lot of businesses that fail, right? Thousands of businesses start every year in January. Within 5 years, those businesses are out of business, because this is what I see. One of the main issues is the relationship with money. How important is money in reference to your relationship to it? And talk to us about that.
So your relationship and how you view money is very important. It's in the mindset, right? It's like how you can believe and that you can achieve more and be more, right? And not let the oh, I'm scared about money and I'm worried about all this stuff to pull you down. For me, my relationships with money started from the day I was born. Like my dad rejected me because I was a daughter, and he walked out of the hospital and left my mom like bleeding and hemorrhaging because she was so upset. So that was like my first relationship with money. And then how our family has gone through multiple times of wealth, and then poverty so many times. And then coming here to the US, we came here with $10, 10 US dollars, with 7 kids and my cousins, and we had nothing except clothes on our back and $10.
Wow.
So, so if you think about it, we started from nothing again, right? And then for me, going through the divorce, everything changed. It's like that was like another relationship with money. What happens then when you're a single mom trying to raise a kid and your ex is not involved? You got to figure it out, right? And not let things like that, pull you down. So you have to sort things out. So if
So
I
so
can
so
do it,
so
anyone can do it.
so would you say, prior to who you are now, right? Just as you're going through your growth and your maturity and your changes, that you had a bad relationship with money and now you have a good one?
Oh, yes.
How is it different? How is it better? Talk to us about that.
Because for me, my mindset then was very limited. And even I say it today, I say, even though I'm a CPA, I felt like my education didn't prepare me or give me what I need. I have an accounting and finance degree. I was a CPA working, managing money for companies. And I felt like there was still a financial gap in terms of my understanding, because all of us in corporate America, we're stuck. You know why we're stuck? We're stuck being taught the things that doesn't work for us anymore. Right. And
Mm.
so we're stuck thinking that the way of saving money, the traditional way of saving money, it works for us. It doesn't work. The retirement plan doesn't work. We don't understand the risk that's available, the taxes and inflation and long-term risk. All these are risks that we don't think about. Right. And then how our mind is so stuck on what we know, and we're not open to it, open to the
Yeah.
other possibilities of strategies. It's all about strategies.
Well, one thing I love what you said is we do a big training called Kill the Employee Mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And what people don't realize is yes, when you leave that 9 to 5 job and you start your business, you have to develop that business mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And the beautiful thing is, as you start to develop this business mindset, your relationship with money changes, right? And then you start developing the millionaire mind. And
Mm-hmm.
one thing I love to see is when people really get the aha moment. And like, yeah, like, think about this. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, and we got a CPA here to kind of verify this. Would you say you made I want to use it. I want to use a fair number, $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
Say someone makes $250,000 in America. What's that tax bracket, about 35, 40%?
About 30% ish.
Yeah.
What's different though, if you had a business,
Yes, yes, yes.
that was a different game plan, right?
Yeah, so think about it. If you make $250,000 and you're just right working and you're gonna be taxed 35% depending on where you fall in. Well, guess what? You're gonna lose about $100,000 off of that, right? 75, 80. It's a lot. It's a lot. But if you have a business, what's the difference with that? No.
Well, I've always had businesses. Even so, the only time I didn't have a business when I was in college, and after I graduated from college, I was going to work in the corporate world, but always dabbling in some kind of business. Like I said, I had a tea business and all these businesses, and I always had tax write-off, right? And where
Yes.
you're able to think of it, let's say your computer, for instance. If you don't have a business, you can't write off your computer. I'm here on business Zoom. I'm writing off my computers and trips that I make. Even though I'm virtual, I can work anywhere. I take my business on the road with me, right? I can literally go anywhere and I have a tax write-off with my virtual businesses that I have.
That's one thing I love what we're talking about because so many people they don't understand. Think about this. Right now, we're using our Wi-Fi. It's a tax write-off because we're using it for business. So either way, you're going to need Wi-Fi in your home. So why not use your Wi-Fi primarily for your business, and then you can use some for your personal use. But the thing is is that it's a tax write-off at the end of the day, and you can save thousands and thousands of dollars in taxes by starting a business. Maybe you're listening to us right now and you're saying, Daniel, can I really start a business? Yes, you can. And the beautiful thing is so many benefits come with that. Let me ask you this: what's something else that you realize that, man, when that shift changed in your mindset about money? What else can you tell us now?
I think for me is having the right coach,
Mm.
right? And the right people to do business with you. So like I share with you, I had 3 other business and they were lessons learned. I never had coaching. And that was a huge, because of my limited mindset in terms of getting help and not knowing the resources to help. And I'm much older than I look. So back then, I know when computers started, right? So we were talking about microfiche and going to the library and doing different kind of research, right? We don't have the technology and the platform that we have now. So there's no excuse now. You're talking about us, like people back then, we don't have the resources that we have now. And so understanding that coaching is so important and the business that you're in is very important. Who are you doing business with? Do they have a platform for you to run on? Or are you just still trading your time for money? At the end of the day, it's a residual game. It's a residual income game, right? It's not trading your time for money game. It's residual income game.
I love that. I write that about that in my book, The Makings of a Millionaire Mind, is you got to stop trading dollars for hours. You got to shift that mindset and think about what Ngoc is saying, ladies and gentlemen. We only have X number of dollars, right? We only have X number of hours in a day. So we'll just say you're making $20 an hour times you're going to work maybe max 12, maybe 16, you're going to kill yourself. Well, if you're trading dollars for hours, that's all there's a limitation on what you can make per day. But what the Ngoc is saying, if you have that passive income, we have that residual income that's coming in, there's no limitation to what you can do and what you can earn. So why do you want to limit yourself? And maybe you're listening to this and you're like, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I've always wanted to start my business. You can do it. Listen to Ngoc. Ngoc came into America as a refugee. And right, she failed many, many times. Over 20 businesses, she just said. But she didn't give up. And now she's successful in her own way. She's doing amazing. She's an author in a couple of books. But what's your excuse? Why don't you want to bet on yourself? Ngoc, I love your story because it's a story of resilience. And it breaks my heart when people don't realize that there's so much more out there for them to have. There's so much more out there. And they don't realize that you can start your own business. You can go out there because we all have a gift, and when we operate in that gift, there's nothing that God can't do through us. Do me a favor, I truly believe that there's a woman, right? They need to hear a woman's version of this that's out there that is scared to take that jump. I love the way Steve Harvey says, right? You got to jump off the cliff. Give a word and speak to that woman right now. Look in your camera and talk to that woman that's scared to start that business, that knows She knows she needs to. She's been unhappy at her job, like you, at corporate America for many, many years. Speak some life into that woman, please, now.
You're more powerful than you think. You have it within you to do whatever you want to do and make the life that you want to create. It's in you. And most of us are so afraid, and that's what stops us, is the fear of making mistakes, the fear that nobody likes us, the fear that we're going to fail. You got to fail. If you don't fail, you're not living. If you're not failing, you're not learning. If you're not failing, you're not going to be able to grow. So fail, but fail forward. Fail with people that you trust. Fail with people who can guide you. Fail with people who have walked the path, that's willing to share and give their heart to help you go where you need to go. That's it.
Oh, I love it. That is so beautiful. Think about what Knox said, ladies and gentlemen. Give yourself permission to fail. Give yourself permission to go out there and make an effort. Do it scared if you need to do it scared. I'll never forget, now when I started my business, I was like, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I had a concept, I had an idea because I ran a multi-million-dollar dealership, right? I understood business, but in the speaking world, I had no idea what I was doing. And sometimes the answer doesn't come until you take that first step. And then the next step shows up. But so many times in life, we wanted it all to be unveiled to us, and it doesn't work that way. It takes a commitment, and you gotta go out there and just really be intentional about it. So let me ask you this: what is a quote or a scripture, not that you rely on in times of adversity when things get hard for you? What's the quote or scripture that you rely on?
I love Napoleon Hill, and he's Think and Grow Rich. And the one thing that I put all over my house is whatever your mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And for me, that was it. I was like, wow, if you think about our mind and everything in this world, all the invention, all the things that goes on, that was never here. Someone conceived it, right? Someone believed in it. Someone made it happen. And so we are so powerful. Our brain is so powerful that we're not using it, right? We're making it dumb. We got to use that brain that we were given, that gift that God gave us, right? To use it and do something about it. Be purposeful, be intentional, and live your life. Don't hide, because your beauty within you, people are waiting for you. People need you. People need your help. People need your impact. And the impact you can make to this world is so powerful. It's so powerful. And that's what I love, is that I know that whatever I'm doing, that I'm making impact on so many lives in the things that I share.
Wow. That was powerful. You mean to tell me that quote, you have it? What do you mean by you have it all over your house? Tell me, what do you mean by that?
So I printed it out and I put it on my doors and different doors of the house, in my bedroom, the bathroom, so like multiple places. So to me, it's a reminder. It's like, it's in here, it's in my head. And it's like, I can do whatever I want. And where I'm now, it doesn't mean I didn't sacrifice. Every morning at 5 a.m. in the morning, I wake up for accountability with my business partners. Every morning, can you say 6 days a week? Right? I never worked so hard in my life, but you know what? I love it, because I know that the fruits of my labor are paying off. Everything is working. Everything is growing. All businesses are in sync. They're all growing. And I know that the impact that I make every day with my financial literacy program, the things that I share, the wisdom that I have that's being passed on, that's what's needed. Our kids need us. The next generation need us. We have so much wisdom. Don't waste it.
Yes, I love. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to what Knock is saying. She took a quote from Napoleon Hill: whatever the mind can believe and whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it will achieve. She took that quote, printed it out on paper, and put it all over her apartment, all over her house. And she read this quote in every room, every day. How intentional do you want the change in your life? How much do you want to change? You have to be intentional. That's what being intentional is about, not what you just did. And I guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, if you take a quote, if you take a saying and you put it on a piece of paper and you put it all over your house, all over your apartment, no wonder I love you so much now, because I don't do that, but I have over 40 affirmations on my bathroom mirror. My wife thought I was crazy because we have a brand new home. We bought it 2.5 years ago. And I wrote all over the mirror. She goes, "Are you going to really leave that up there?" I'm like, "You want to keep this house, don't you?" Because what we read in the morning, what we see first thing, we take in that visual content. Like I said earlier, we take in over 1 million objects a second. So get a quote. I challenge every listener right now, get a quote, get a scripture, whatever it is for you, whatever you want to put on paper, type it out on PowerPoint, print it out. And don't just do 1 copy, do 10 copies and put it all over your house, put it in your car, in your office, wherever you can see it day in and day out. And I promise you, once you start to read it and really focus on that, you're going to start to believe it. And like she says, what you conceive and believe, you can achieve. Don't be scared to take a step and get out of your comfort zone and do this if you've never done this before. Because Ngoc, you know what? It works. I know it works because I've done it myself. And I love that you said that. If somebody wants to talk to Ngoc and go get a hold of you, Ngoc, how do we get a hold of you?
Oh, you can visit me on my website at Ngoc, NGOCTTRAN.com. So it's NgocTran.com. So you can book in a time with me on my calendar and connect with me there.
Awesome. Well, before we let you go, I'm going to ask you one more question. What's the best business advice you ever received from somebody, Ngoc?
Best business advice? Like I say, get a mentor. Get a coach.
Hire Daniel Gomez.
Hire Daniel Gomez. Work with people who walk the path. Like I say, work with people who've walked the path. Not people who say things and sell you dreams and stuff, but people who have proof that they have made it. People who have a process and a system for you to run on. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what business you're in the people business, you're in the distribution business. Understand the people business.
I love it. Ngoc, thank you so much for being here with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap for this week's episode. Thank you so much for joining us on the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show. And remember, if you're stuck in life, if you're stuck in business, go to DanielGomezGlobal.com. That's DanielGomezGlobal.com. And do the entrepreneur's assessment there. We want to hear from you. And also, don't forget, behind me right here, the Makings of a Millionaire Mind Bootcamp, May 26 and 27 here in San Antonio, Texas. You don't want to miss it. I want to see you in San Antonio at our Makings of a Millionaire Mind Bootcamp, May 26 and 27. Myself, Dr. Rob Kelly, and Brian Covey are going to change lives. Ngoc's going to be there. You need to be here because I'll tell you what, something's dying to unlock in you, and I wanted to unlock here at our bootcamp. Go to Eventbrite right now and look up the Makings of a MillionaireMind.com bootcamp. We'll see you here in San Antonio. And until next week with another amazing episode with another great guest like Ngoc, we'll see you here on the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show.
Thank you.
This is Daniel Gomez, and thank you so much for tuning into our show today. We'd love your feedback. Please drop us a comment, and thank you for leaving us a review. Don't forget to subscribe to our show and share this episode with a friend. And my free gift for listening to our show today is a copy of my best-selling book, You Were Born to Fly. To get your free copy, go to DanielGomezInspires.com and get your copy today. That's DanielGomezInspires.com. And to elevate your life and business even more, follow me on social media at Daniel Gomez Inspires on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence.